of ancient times called Gopichan. He was actually leading a very leisurely life, and it was said that he had 1,600 queens attending upon him. So when he would take a bath, there's a song about these 1,600 queens pouring water on him, and that is how he was in absolute opulence and wealth, and totally oblivious of anything other than what was going around him. And his mother was deeply spiritual, and she was observing this ritual being performed one day from the terrace on the top, or whatever you could call a gallery or something. And it filled her with dismay to see her son wasting time like this. So spontaneously a tear rolled out, and it fell on the shoulder of Raja Gopichan, and he happened to look up. He felt the warmth somehow. That's how the story goes. And he looked up and he sees his mother weeping, and he is deeply moved. Then he goes up to her and asks her the reason for this. He says, "Mother, aren't you happy in my happiness?" And she says, "No, son, this is not the way to lead a life." And so on, the story goes on. It's a very long story of eventually how Gopichan was weaned away from this into the spiritual life. Yeah.
And he becomes a great saint.
Yeah, he becomes a great saint.
Was this
it was done by Machindranath and Gorakhnath. These were the two responsible to bring him out of this situation.
Oh, the two saints.
The perfect masters of days. Yeah. Gorakhnath's tomb is here.
Right.
So these two saints brought him out of this impregnable barrier of Maya. Oh. They penetrated the very citadel there and just plucked him out of it. It's a nice story, yeah. Eventually, I remember my father in Bangalore took me to see this film Raja Gopichan, and I remember weeping all the way in the theatre. Yeah, it was a very poignant drama of human suffering and human happiness, and yes, it was a very nice film. Yeah. And so my father thought I was feeling unwell and said, "What's wrong with you?" And I was trying to hide my tears. He wasn't moved much, you know. But he says, "Let's go if you're not." And I said, "Papa, I'm enjoying this film. Let me see it." It was a very moving film, yeah. Those days we had these real good films which impressed upon the minds of people and children alike. And unfortunately, we are seeing this age changing, and we see a total deterioration in the entertainment of the modern age, which is leading people away into great unhappiness and misery. Well, it's all Baba's doing. I think he's churning up and bringing everything to a boil. So one of the instruments he's using to speed up the process, probably.
I guess we all get to drink from this cup and find out what it is.
Yeah, it's a heady mixture.
It is. This Raja Gopichan.
Yeah, so the Gopichan Raja was performed, and it was successfully performed.
So
somehow.
So and the ashram inmates played the major roles also? Did they?
No, it's only the mad ashram people.
I mean, to say the Maharashtra.
Yeah, everything.
Like the Raja, they played that?
I don't know the different things.
Wow.
I wasn't sitting in the audience much of the time. I was moving around. Being a small child, I could see what's going on here. So I was out once and I saw one of the mad people rushing out and people grabbing him. That was most indelibly impressed upon me. I was so frightened to see the man being dragged back on the stage. And they had these big tongs, they are called chumchumiyas. They used to perform these rites, and he had those in his hands. And he was all dressed in saffron robes with big hair matted, and he looked quite formidable with those big long tongs in his hand, and they catching him hold.
And somehow they got him back into
then he went back and he was performing all right. And there was a big applause at the end of the play. And every manly hide must have sighed a sigh of relief. Must have heaved a sigh of relief.
Do you remember how Baba seemed to like the play?
Yeah, I don't remember that, but he was very pleased with the effort, it seems.
Yeah.
That was the last thing, and I think soon thereafter the ashram was wound up, the inmates were sent off, and Baba was preparing for the blue bus journeys.
Yeah.
So this was just, you see, we joined in 1st August, and Baba, if I remember rightly, embarked upon the blue bus journeys in the first week of December.
So you were 4 months in Meherwan.
Yeah, that was it. So the thing was that I think it was about 8th or so of December that Baba, with the women mandali, started on the blue bus journey. Now the problem was with me and Dadi.
Yeah.
So Dadi was sent back home. And of course, Baba made provisions with his family so that they wouldn't be financially burdened. All of a sudden, Baba would see to very minute details of everything about the people that he took responsibility for, leaving nothing to chance or anything. Yes, that was the trait of Baba, personally attending to every little detail. And you would, in the film also, you would see Baba making that gestures. I have to see to every little thing. Even in that leper program, the film that we saw lately, I could see that Baba's gesture, saying that he has to see to all the details personally. There is no way out. Yeah. So Dadi was well cared for. He was sent back to his family, and for me, Baba made the arrangement of my being shifted to Akbar Press. So, and being entered in a school in Ahmednagar when it opened. So the schools then used to open for the beginning of the term would be in June. So now there was 6 months which there was no school for me. So Baba had arranged for some private tuition to be given to me at Akbar Press. Books were provided, and I was to get going with all the subjects. And this language was the difficulty about it being Marathi,
Whereas you spoke, what was the language you grew? Your family spoke Gujarati?
Yes, Gujarati, and we were in English medium school. So I don't think there was an English medium school then. So I was being tutored for Marathi and all that. And I wasn't feeling very comfortable, whatever it was, but the arrangement was that I was sent to Akbar Press. But
now your relations lived there, right? The Sathas were there, right?
Yes, it was our family estate. My grandfather was there, and then my uncle took over from him. So actually it was not a family estate. My grandfather, that means my mother's side father, my mother's father, his name was Naurodji. He was the engineer in that place. It was a pressing factory, cotton pressing factory, and he was appointed as the engineer there to oversee the operations. Loose cotton would be brought from the ginning factories and they would be pressed into hard bales to be transported to Bombay and Ahmednagar, where the main cotton weaving and spinning mills were. Ahmednagar was then a very busy cotton center. Yes, this was having the rich black cotton soil, very suitable for cotton plantation. Unfortunately, later on, sugarcane replaced this cash crop, and the farmers took to sugarcane farming, and cotton died out. But we used to have plenty of ginning and pressing factories, and this Akbar press was a pressing factory. And when my grandfather retired, my uncle Pilu Mama, Firoz Sattha was his name, he took over my grandfather's duties and carried on the profession.
Were they devoted to Baba? That branch of the family at that time?
Yes, they were all devoted. In fact, my uncles were the first who heard of Baba, Meherwan and Homi Mama. They were the first who met Baba at Arangaon when he had just newly come with a few of the disciples and was sitting on the roadside there near the Dhuni. And Homi Mama and Naswan Mama used to go for long walks, and they went for this long walk one day all the way to Arangaon, and they happened to look aside and see a group of new people there and some very attractive person in the midst, and they were drawn there somehow, and immediately they fell for him, accepted him. What it was, we don't know. Probably the entire family was ripe fruit for Baba to pluck.
Must be.
Yes.
So it was from that your mother...
Yeah, and then Baba encouraged them to pay frequent visits, and they would go frequently. Then Naswan Mama was all for Baba then. Yeah. And then he then wrote to my mother that they have come across a great personality. He is like Zoroaster, come again, and would you like to come and meet him? So Mama was a ripe target, so these words were enough for her. And so when the vacation started, we all went over, and that's how I wasn't born then, actually. So Diaries describes his first visit to Baba. Yeah. So that was the time when the whole family went. And
did your father go on that occasion?
I think so. Probably. I'm not so clear about the details. But probably he must have, or he may not have. He might be busy with his schools or whatever, but probably he was there. So, yes, so Akbar Press was where I had to be deposited, as it were, for my education. Because my Papa was always worried about my education. Everything aside, he would pester Baba that, see, my child should have a good education. So Baba then consented and kept me at Guru Prasad. But my life there was not very happy. I remember that, because neither Baba was there. I was separated from Baba as well as the family.
So the rest of the family go on the Blue Bus tour?
Iraj followed later. Actually, before I was taken to Guru Prasad,
You mean Akbar Press?
I was at Meherwan. Akbar Press. Sorry. I was at Meherwan, and I remember having a very severe headache for 2 or 3 days. Nothing would help. So Baba's younger brother Adi was then a homeopathic doctor there, giving medicine. So he prescribed some homeopathic drug, and the headache disappeared. But my whole body started developing huge boils as big as small tomatoes. I remember still, all down from my waist, not above that. Yeah, but filled with these big boils, full of pus. So this is just before Baba embarked on the Blue Bus journeys. So then Iraj, and then I was shifted to the Rauri cabin because I was very sick with this sort of thing. And Dr. Neelu and Iraj were asked to attend upon my condition. It was quite serious because I was filled with all this. And they would cut up all these things and drain out all the matter, and I was in great pain and very uncomfortable, being small. And eventually they were just getting healed up, and then they had to leave, so I was sent over to Akbar Press. Probably Iraj must have joined Baba somewhere. I don't know what happened. But
I see Neelu and Iraj stayed back a little bit.
Many of the Mandli stayed back. Baba was travelling only with the women Mandli, mainly. And I don't know what the arrangement was with the men Mandli.
Did your mother go?
Yes, all of them, mother and
How about your father? Was he there?
No, father was still working. Yeah, he was still busy with his work. And then I was brought to Akbar Press. I was still not too well, and they would put restrictions on my going out, and that would further cause misery to me. They wouldn't let me out of the house, and I would like to play with other children, and they would say, no, you shouldn't be in the grass, and there was a restrictive atmosphere there. So then Baba was continuing his journeys in the Blue Bus, and it seems that they had come to a place near Jabalpur called Mandla. This was on the banks of the Narmada river. It's a very beautiful place. Actually, Baba's center was to be built at Mandla also. In those days. So then when they were in Mandla, my mother received a very distasteful letter from Akbar Press saying that some complaint about me and all that I was unruly or something. I don't know what it was, but she became a little moody. Then Baba, as usual, started to dig out things from her. He says, what's it? Then she showed him the letter. Then Baba asked her, you feel peeved with me for leaving your son behind like this? So, this is what mother tells me. So she said, no Baba, I would sacrifice 1,000 sons like that for you. So Baba was extremely pleased with the reply, and he said, no, I want your son to be recalled immediately. So, he was greatly pleased with her reply. But she said it with real heart and soul when Baba put that question to her. That, what of this one son? I don't care for anything. So, Baba was very happy.
Lucky you are to have such a mother.
Yes, no question about it. That is why we are here, partly because of her good sanskar, whatever it must be. Yes, so then Baba sends a telegram to Pendu. Pendu was in charge at Meherabad. So at Mandla they had to bring some luggage from Meherabad, quite a few packages. So Masaji was given the duty. Masaji was also there. Masaji is Baba's uncle, Rustam Masa.
Which side? Maternal or paternal? Must be
mother's side.
maternal.
That means Shirin Mai's sister was married to Masaji. Yes, Firoja, I think. And Masaji was the father of Pendu and Najamai, the brother and sister. So Pendu and Naja are first cousins to Baba from the mother's side. Their mothers, Baba's mother and Pendu's mother were sisters. See, that's the relationship. So Masaji, we would call Baba's Masa as Masaji. He was Masa to all of us.
I hear you. I think I heard someone once describe him as that pirate.
Oh yes, you remember Brian O'Neill? He reminds me of Masaji. With those big moustaches and a burly, hefty figure, very robust and very athletic. He would do these exercises right till he collapsed on the floor and died. Yeah, so he was that keen about his physical fitness, and he had all his teeth intact right till his old age. He was very proud of his teeth. Yeah. He would show them all. He once took a bet that he wouldn't clean his teeth for a week and see how they are still clean. And in fact, he won the bet or something. Yeah, I still remember these little incidents when you bring them out of me, buried in the past, ancient past, as it were.
And he somehow had accepted Baba, even though he was Baba's uncle.
Oh, very much so. What impressed me most was the way these rugged Mandli would be before Baba. There was no question about that. All their ruggedness and all their roughness would be completely transformed in his presence. They were like a herd of mild lambs in front of him. The transformation was unbelievable.
Whereas among themselves, they'd be roaring lions.
Were willing to tear apart each other. I'm just exaggerating, but I mean, yes, before Baba, there was no question about it, and that was most impressive to see these rugged, burly people accept Baba wholly and completely, and obeying his every little wish as if their very life depended upon it. It was a demonstration to us of how one should be with the Master. Really, to be with those old Mandli was something which had indelibly impressed itself upon my mind. I don't know about others, but I could see it as a child and was most impressed. Even later on, this same thing would be repeated when I was at Meherabad. I'm just digressing a little. So Kaka Baria was one of those old remnants, weather beaten and very strong. Although he was short, he was stocky, but very strong, physically as well as mentally, of course. And one day I remember we were in this hall and a big gnat, what you call it, a gnat or a big honeybee or whatever.
Yeah, those dragonfly.
No.
Not dragonfly.
Those which can sting you and cause immense pain to you.
Like a hornet.
Yeah, hornet. That's right. So that strayed into this hall. Baba was sitting there. And then it squatted somewhere near the window. So Kaka Bhadia just goes quietly up there and with his bare hands just jammed it on the wall. And we would be afraid to go approach it. And Baba says, see how strong he is. And a few days later, there was something that Kaka did, and Baba started to needle him. And he started to cry like a small child before Baba. And I was so shocked to see this man cry like a child, shedding tears before Baba. Just because Baba was so displeased with him, that made this man, who had no fear of anything, just melt before Baba. So these were the things that would would impress me greatly. Yeah. That's how they accepted Baba. Well, so they were in Mandla, and Masaji was given the task of bringing these quite a few pieces, I think more than 24 of them, big pieces of luggage to be transported.
Trunks.
All bundles, all sorts of things, beddings and trunks. So they were to be transported from Meherwan to Mandla. Now Mandla is quite a long distance away, mind you, in middle of the country, about more than 500 to 600 miles from here. So it was a long journey. So Baba sends the telegram that Masaji should bring the luggage as well as bring Meherwan.
How did you hear about this? Because the news came to Akbar Press?
Nothing. I was just asked to accompany Masaji. That time children were never informed about anything. Next thing I saw was that I was boarding a train and with all this baggage, and Pendu leaving last moment instructions to Masaji. Masa, you would call him Masa, although he was his father. Masa means uncle. Masa, take care of the baggage, keep your eye on that. I still remember that. So Masaji took that literally to mean that every time the train halted, he must go and see the baggage. There was so much baggage that it couldn't be put in the carriage in which we were booked. So it had to be put in the brake van. Brake van was a sort of an arrangement at the time of the British to keep extra luggage, which had to be paid for. A certain amount of luggage would be allowed to be carried in the carriage itself, but the rest would have to be put in the baggage truck, which was at the end of the train. Usually it used to be at the end. So every time the train would halt, Masaji would open the door, rush out, see that nobody was opening that thing. Although there was no need, because we would have a receipt, of the baggage, and the railway was responsible for delivering that many packages. But since it was Baba's duty, so it had to be performed diligently. So he would trudge all the way there and come back and join me. Now it so happened that while we were proceeding, a small wayside station came and this train halted there. So Masaji didn't know that the train was scheduled for a very brief halt. So he started going down. He went up to the end of the train, which was quite long then. So when he reached the end, the train suddenly gave a whistle and started. Poor Masaji started running, and I was looking out of the window, and I could see that he was struggling to get, but he couldn't get on the train. He missed the train. And I was all alone there in the compartment, not knowing what to do. So then Masaji was desperate. That's what he tells me later. Then he, the train kept going. I was totally helpless. I just kept sitting there.
You didn't have tickets or any way
nothing.
of retrieving the luggage?
I was just a sort of baggage for Masaji. At that time, children were not so sharp and intelligent. At least I wasn't so. So I was completely dependent upon him. Now, I kept sitting. So then the next station, the train halts. And I look out of the window and I see a couple of policemen walking down. And not policemen, but railway people with railway uniforms. So they are peeking into each window, trying to see something. Then they come to my compartment and they ask me, "Child, where is your father?" So I said, "I don't know. I missed him." So, yes, they said, come with us. So they made me get out of the train. And what I find is that on the platform there was a huge mound of luggage. All that baggage was brought down and I was made to sit on one of the packages. And they said, "You just sit here, child, don't move. In the following train, your father or whoever guardian will be coming and meeting you. So don't have no fear." So I just sat there. It was about almost approaching midnight, all alone on that platform, quite desolate and forlorn, small wayside station. And sure enough, after some time, a train steamed in, those old railway steam engines of yore. And as soon as the train stopped, I see Masaji jump out of the train and come running towards that big mound. And he comes and just gets onto me and hugs me and says, "Oh, my child, I was so frightened and nervous," and he starts to weep. He was so frightened that he had missed me, and how will he present himself before Baba if I was lost? He didn't know what to do. So what he did was, he immediately went to the station master and told him what had happened. So the station master sent a telegram, railway telegram, to the next station to stop the train and get me off it, describing how I was and all that, and also to deposit all the baggage from the train. And the train proceeded ahead. And then this baggage, then we got on to the next train and then we proceeded ahead. So Masaji was so relieved to meet me. I wasn't feeling anything so scared. But Masaji was so scared with this huge man weeping and embracing me so tightly that he had found the treasure of his life. Because the responsibility of Baba, that he had to carry out, he somehow thought he had failed in that. And that was what was moving him like this. That was all the while being impressed upon him. Yeah. How much they took to the duty.
Yeah, what witness they were all bearing to the importance of obeying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
To give their very life for every little thing that he wanted to be done. Yeah. So that was there all the while, a living demonstration. So this was a slow passenger train and it took a very long time to reach destination. And of course he had sent a telegram to Baba just saying that we had missed the train, something, and that we would be following in another train, not to expect us on the first one. And then when we reached Mandla, I remember Baba was there and the Mandli were there, Masaji was there, and Masaji was crying before Baba and saying, "Baba, this is what happened," and now I was so scared. Never I felt so scared in my life. And they said, "What would I have done if this child was lost? how would I have faced you? And I'm hearing these things, And then then Baba says, now this his old man, that means my papa, should not be told the whole thing. So let's gloss over the thing. So Baba is preparing them to tell what to tell Papa and what not to tell him, so that Papa doesn't flare up, I still remember that. So Baba sort of breaking the news to my father why we were delayed and all that. Papa had joined, it seems, Baba at Mandla.
He was there.
He was there. Yeah. Probably he might have come on leave or something, because Mandla was close to Nagpur.
So Mandla is north of Ahmednagar.
Yeah, north and central. Yeah. Not much north, but more east, more towards the center of India, near Jabalpur. So.
Do you remember meeting Baba when you first arrived there at Mandla?
Yes, Baba was there, but not very clear. But this conference was going on, that there is a faint recollection. Yeah. And then Papa was told about it and all that. Papa was called and here's your son. Something like that happened probably. And then that was, I think, the first time that Baba allowed a male child to be inducted into the female ashram, the women's ashram. So the time when Baba broke that strict exclusion of the male from the women's side.
Oh, so you stayed on the women's side then?
Yeah, then Baba allowed me to stay with.
You didn't stay with. There would have been erection and other men.
Ever since then, I was allowed to stay with the women's side. So, the first male child that even Mera saw after a long time.
Do you have memories of the women mandali from that time? Do you remember Mera?
Yeah.
From then?
Very much.
Because almost no men would have seen Mera up until then.
Absolutely. She was in tremendously strict seclusion. Yeah. So Mandla was there, and then I remember Baba taking us on excursions, because Mandla is a scenic place where the Narmada river flows, and there are big falls there, known as Dhuadhar. The falls are so high that when the water falls, there's always a mist floating up of fine spray, which would reach us right up. So it was a very scenic place. Yeah.
So Baba took you all.
Yeah, Baba would take us on boating rides during the day, and then during the night there was a full moon, and yes. So Baba would and some of the women in one boat, the rest in another boat, and we go for these boatings.
So all the Western women were there.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
So what did you think of them? Did you have any impressions, or did you have any impressions of Mera or the Western women? This has been quite a
I was small and very shy and withdrawn. Wouldn't be much, wouldn't mix much, but kept to myself. That's why probably I was allowed in being such a type of child.
You would disrupt things.
No, yeah. So, but one thing impressed me very much. It's an incident that really shocked me then. I don't know whether it was Mandla or Jabalpur afterwards, but I think it was Mandla. And the Western women were there. So, of course, women, there would always be disagreements with their natures. Any two women together, and disagreement of nature is bound to be there. Well, I wouldn't say much like that for men, but women, of course, it's difficult for them to see eye to eye. I'm sorry for that, to say that, but this is what I noticed even in that very innocent age of mine. So one day, Baba would do this call of everybody. When the everybody, that was the call. As soon as that call came, Baba's orders were to drop everything you did, and they were given these small little wooden stools. So they had to grab the stools and go wherever Baba was and be seated in front of him. That was the call, everybody. So there was one of these calls and everybody was there. Baba was seated there on a sofa chair, and all the women were there. Meherwan was seated on one side of Baba. And suddenly one of the Western women come and she put her forehead on Baba's feet and started to sob loudly, deep sobs, and Baba just sat unmoved. A few seconds or minutes later, another Western woman comes and starts to beat the first one who is bowing to Baba.
Right there?
In front of Baba, with two fists hanging on her back and big thuds that I could hear. I was totally dumbfounded. What's going on here? And I was shaking all over. And Baba let the whole thing happen. Yes. So it went on for quite some time. I was wondering how that woman was able to bear those blows, and she was sobbing, and this woman was saying something unintelligible because her language was not in English, and she was a big, hefty woman. So with all her might, she was pounding on her. It went on for some time. Then it subsided somehow. Then Baba asked the woman to rise up. Then he embraced her. He embraced the other woman also. Then he says, now both of you embrace. So they both embraced. And I was so shocked at the whole scene because they forgot everything then. And they embraced each other so warmly after that. Everything seemed to have been thrown out of their system, and the whole scene changed. Without Baba doing anything, just watching the whole scene, everybody there was pin drop silence. So this is the impression that I had of the Western women that you are asking me about. Not a very pleasant thing, but yet a very impressive incident. Yes, so it moved me very much to see how Baba worked things out in one's insides that came out and was emptied out before him. As he was, as it were, the ocean which absorbed everything, all the passions, and then they just calmed down, and then the scene that followed was something out of the world.
You know, the thing that occurs to me as you tell this is for, Westerners don't have the same appreciation for the significance of bowing down at the feet of the master. I would think that for an Indian, the idea of hitting someone who's bowing down at Baba's feet would be unimaginable.
But to do it in front of Baba was sacrilegious for a child like me, who would be absolutely reverent before Baba, to see the scene being enacted.
But how great Baba was that he could allow this to occur and respond for these people.
Only Baba could do it. So that reminds me of one of Maharaj's discourses, wherein Maharaj says that one of the ways of what were his words? One of the ways to identify the darbar of a perfect master or an avatar is that you find all types of people around him. From the worst of sinners to the best of souls, they all are in his darbar. And only he, the mighty ocean, can accommodate everything. For lower levels of progress, that means the saints, they will not be able to do this. So the sign of the darbar of an avatar or Sadguru is to find all diverse types of people, and so one must not feel that how come that in the darbar of Baba or a perfect master, such people are in front of him, people whom we know are awful in their behavior or whatever externally, but well, they are ready for him, inwardly probably. These are the remnants of the crust that seems to be visible to us, and Baba is clearing it off. That's how the feeling we have. So this is one of the things that in my very young age I was initiated into very unwittingly. So I think we should give a break because people might be quite bored by now. Do you think?
I think this is probably enough for one.
But
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
It's still May 25th after lunch, and we'll resume for a few minutes. Meherwan, you've been talking about Baba's Rubas tour and the first place where you were with Baba there at the Mandla.
That's right. As I was saying, I described to you that very remarkable incident that occurred at Mandla, and the indelible impression that it caused. What do you call it? The indelible impression that it made upon my mind at that tender young age. So there are other lighter incidents like we going on boating excursions, Baba telling us not to fail to see the hornet's nest. There were quite huge hornet's nests on the rocks. You see, the river is flanked by tall mountains of pure marble, and the place is called Marble Rocks. So the river winds through these huge marble rocks and then has that sheer fall which is known as Dhumadhar, where the water falls so abruptly and so deep that it rises up in a sort of mist, and there's always a mist there. Dhua means a smoke, so Dhumadhar means a fall. So the smoky fall, if we could translate that literally. And those marble rocks were really a sight to watch. Some were pure blue marble, some were white dazzling marble. They would dazzle in the sunlight. And in the niches of the rocks, there were these huge hornets' nests, about 3 feet by 4 feet in dimension, and with huge hornets in them. Very intimidating sight, And all those guides and those boatmen would warn us that nobody should ever cause a smoke a cigarette or bidi or anything, because these hornets detest smoke, and anyone who did that was sure to meet with a fatal end. Because if once these hornets attack you, you have no escape from them.
They were big hornets.
Big hornets. You would have no escape. They would just finish you up. So we saw these things, and then in the moonlight ride, the moonlight boating excursion, some days following, my mother tells me that she was in another boat and she saw Baba and Mera in the other boat with the moonlight shining behind them, and she was so moved with the scene. She felt reminded of Ram and Sita leaving for Vanvas in the boat, and the boatman giving them that free ride across the river. So after the thing, Baba would not fail to notice what was passing in Mama's mind. So he then very casually asked her, "Did you like the boat ride?" And she said, "Yes, Baba." "What do you think of it? Did you have any special memory of it?" So she then says that she felt like this, "Baba, I felt as if we were reliving that scene that took place thousands of years ago." So Baba was very pleased with the answer. That's what my mama said. And he was happy with what she felt about him. Yeah. So that's how my mama's feelings were for Baba and Mera. Yes. So I think that was the short time we had at Mandla. Then from Mandla we then shifted to Jabalpur, which is close by. It's a big city there.
How would you go? Were you traveling in the blue bus?
Yeah, part of the time in the blue bus. I don't have exact memories of the transport, but probably by blue bus or perhaps with Baba in Elizabeth's car sometime. Being tiny, I could be fitted in anywhere, So
the women, Western women, have often talked about how incredibly crammed in they were.
Oh yeah, I used to see this. Actually, the women would enter the bus, fill up all the seats, then there would be that central aisle where they would get their stools and they sit two side by side in the aisle. Then still there would be people entering from the rear door, and then eventually Baba would be there as the usher, so pushing the women inside, and the last one he would bang the door on the last person as it were. So that's it, and then Baba would go on the front side. There was another side door, and Baba and Mera would sit in the front seat, and I think Mani Kaushik were behind him. And there was a partition in front, a wooden partition, and there were two windows. So a sliding window, which Baba would just slide a bit and give instructions to the driver where he was to go. Nobody knew Baba's plans except Baba himself. So
how would Baba give instructions being in silence? The driver would pick the alphabetical order?
Driver or somebody sitting beside would read Baba's board or some gesture, something, and would go here or there or wherever Baba would want the bus to be driven. And that would be how Baba would communicate with the men there. There would be curtains, of course. Everything was very secluded for Mera. And curtains on the sides as well, so that no sights would be visible from.
No sightseeing on route then?
Not for Mera. For Mera, nothing, no, yes. It was very strict then. So then we arrived at Jabalpur, and at Jabalpur we were in the house of a Baba lover named Jal Kerawala. He was holding a very high post in the government administrative service. And I think he was the district commissioner of the place at that time, which is a very responsible post. And he had a big bungalow and a big compound. And of course, he had to be out of it while Baba and the women occupied the place, which was usual with Baba. And then we were there for some time. So then after that, Baba shifted, I think, to another house, more spacious one, and then
still in Jabalpur.
Yes, still in Jabalpur. I'm not very sure about the movements, but there was little shifting of these places. Probably Kerala might be having to vacate to go to some other place, and so Baba had to vacate the place. So we went to another place.
Where would you actually sleep when at these different places? Just a corner somewhere, or would you?
No, there would be rooms, and Baba would allot each one where they should stay, with whom they should stay. Each and every minor detail Baba would attend to, and we had to abide by that. Yes, you just couldn't sleep anywhere you wanted. So,
where were you? Who would you usually sleep at?
Near Mama. Yes. So that would be it. And so we were in Jabalpur, I remember, and the highlight of the thing was my thread ceremony. You know, like the Jewish community, we also have a sort of something like a bar mitzvah, what they call it.
Yeah, bar mitzvah.
Bar mitzvah. So when a child comes of age, as it were, when he begins to understand things, that's the time when he is officially inducted into the religion. So this thread ceremony is performed where the sadra and the thread is tied around the waist, and there is a ritual and ceremony which enjoins upon the young child to lead a life of good thoughts, good words and good deeds, which is the very essence of Zoroastrian religion. Yes. So that's the whole thing is all about that. But unfortunately it has degenerated into a mere outward ceremony with all the essence forgotten totally. Just so many words chanted out by the priest and the child just repeating them. Well, so the thing was that Baba told my parents that he would like to perform my thread ceremony, and even Sam was brought in. At that time Sam was in Bombay and they had some vacation, so my aunt was called, and Sam was just about my age. He was about 6 years senior to me. So it was decided that we both should have the thread ceremony together. So Sam was also called, and Banmasi, my aunt, was called with him to be at Jabalpur. So I remember a very humorous incident that occurred. You see, when my mother joined the ashram, the thing was that my Baba's mother Shirinmai got a great fancy for my mother. So she was the most favorite inmate in the ashram for Shirinmai. So immediately she grabbed upon my mother, Baba's mother, and told Mero, Shirinmai would address Baba as Mero, always. So she said, Meherwan, I want this girl to attend upon me all the while. So you allot her to me. So Baba ordered my mother to always obey Shirinmai and do whatever she said. So my mother was most happy at this situation. So she said, yes, Baba, with all my heart I'll serve. And Shirinmai took a great liking for my mother because she would work with her heart and would serve mother so lovingly that they had formed a good friendship. Yes, probably in preparation for what Baba eventually said, that my mother would be his mother in the next incarnation. So I think Baba was giving her the grounding probably. We don't know his ways, whatever that may be. So this is how it was going on. And so when Baba asked my mother to write to my aunt Banmasi to come with Sam for the thread ceremony, Shirinmai came to know of that.